and good morning to those attending our fourth webinar of 2016. Thank you for registering your interest. My name is Greg Oldham. I'll be handing over to Carl Andrews in a minute, who will present today's webinar. We thought for this particular webinar we'd like to show you how our software can help create final inspection plans, operation inspection plans, and potentially how you might want to collect those data, the results in the production batches. It is a topic of keen interest from quite a few major OEMs, and we try our best to help all our customers out. So hopefully this presentation will give you an insight into our particular tools and solutions, and if you want further information, you know how to contact us. We've got information on the website. If you know of us personally, you can contact Russ, Carl, Brian, myself, Peter. There's quite a few of us. So thank you, and I'll hand you over to Carl Andrews.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. So I'm just going to go now to our software that some of you will be more than familiar with, and I'm just going to go to a particular part that we've got prepared for this webinar. So the part in question, first of all, I'm just going to go and launch our new product introduction application because it helps me to drive the process personally inside our business. And first of all, the part in question, I'm going to go and show you that part, and with an application that most of you will be familiar with, our first article solution. So I'm just launching Visual Fair with all the relevant documentation that I might need for my process. And this is the drawing in question. You can see that it's all marked up. Obviously everything's orange, so all the features are set. All of that information and that technical data from the drawing will cascade into any inspection plan, any control plan, any final inspection plan that you might have within your business process today. So just a basic inspection plan here. You can see that we are missing operations at this stage because we haven't done anything. We haven't set those particular operations against certain features. A typical final inspection plan from one of our customers, and then again just a different type of inspection plan as well. So I'm just going to go and come back out of there. So this particular part, it hasn't got operations set at this moment in time. In this scenario, it is a new part for my organisation. So very early on in the process, from a point of view of the estimate or quotation, somebody will have defined, well, okay, we're going to manufacture those features at that particular operation as we've built up that cost for that component. And typically, I'm going to go and use our visual PFD, our process flow diagram application, to define my operations. There is another area where we can go and do that, and I'm going to go and use that particular functionality as well within this process. So Visual PFD, process flow diagram application is opened up. I've got the drawing that's all annotated, and my colour codes are black and white here, so hence why they're black and white there. And then a library function. So again, we're great believers in not repeating things over and over again and doing things more than once where we don't need to within the software, hence why there's a library. So I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller. So exactly what it says in the middle of the screen there, simply by right mouse clicking, I can go and add an operation, and I can put a small description into there. Again, I can right mouse click, I can add another operation. I'm going to go and say we're going to go and sort something to length. So operations are consisted of a number of steps that we might have to go through to actually achieve that manufacturing process. So I'm on operation, I'm going to go and add now some process steps. So my first process step, I'm going to go and load material to the saw in this case, and I'm going to go and add another process step. Once I've loaded it, I'm going to go and saw to length. So why I'm at this stage here, bringing my drawing into play, and I'm just going to go and zoom into some particular features. I can actually allocate that particular feature there that I know that I want to achieve at this particular process step associated with this operation. So already there you can see characteristic number 1 associated to a process step, which is associated to that operation. So here we're starting to build up that linkage within our operations, within our process steps, and certainly over the sort of coming months in other webinars, those process steps are connected to my FMEA, where we go and define our failure modes. But today we're obviously concerned about all our operation plans. So again, that particular feature as well, I'm just going to go and allocate to another requirement. My library at this stage, I can build things from my library. We can upload, take that operational sequence from your MRP, ERP system, bring that into the library, and then you can add you can define then all your process steps associated with those operations, which ultimately will cascade into your FMEA at a later date as well. So what's my operation 30? I'm going to have a cleaning process. I'm going to have a couple of machining operations, and I'm going to go and have an inspect as well. And just bring this down so we can all see everything, and just renumber everything. So now even here at operation 40, again, I've got a particular process step, and I'm going to go and machine these, and I can just click on that particular feature to assign that characteristic. So now I've got 16 and 17 also associated with that characteristic. Save what I've done, and I'm going to go and come back out of there, and any documentation that requires that information, it will go into that particular documentation. So I'm just going to go back into Visual Fair so you can see the different inspection plans. So my inspection method sheet now is already updated. Down the bottom you can see those 3 features that I allocated as part of that process step are associated to that particular operation. And likewise, any other documentation that also requires it there, you can see operation 20 is coming through into my inspection plan. So at the moment, all of these are my design requirements for the drawing that I'm concerned with. But obviously in a manufacturing process, you may have to control what's determined as non-design requirements. So for example, a pre-plating size, you may need to control that to demonstrate plating thickness, or preheat treatment sizes, so on and so forth. So already within the software, there's the ability to actually go and create those non-design requirements. And I'm going to go and just select a particular feature, as we do when we go into marking up. And one of the tabs is operations, and you can see there that we've already defined the design requirement on this particular feature, but we now want to go and add a process requirement. In this case, I'm going to go and add a process requirement, and in the same way of setting requirements, I'm now going to go and set that process requirement. So here, I'm going to say I'm going to machine it to 0.75, and I'm going to say I've got a tolerance of 0.05 and 0.05. So what I've created now is a non-design requirement. The operations that I've previously created with the PFD application are now available to me here. So I'm going to say that, okay, I'm going to go and select operation 30 as a different operation, and what particular process step do I want to allocate that to. So obviously that same feature could have 2 operations associated with it. We may do something at operation 30, and we may also do something at operation 40. And I'm just going to go and save what we've done now. So we can display non-design requirements because, again, as organisations, you may need to demonstrate that you've captured that information and captured that measurement data. Same filter tool that we've used to white out the drawing to make sure we don't miss particular features. We can also just flag design requirements. So now only that feature where we've got a non-design requirement is shown. and likewise any documentation that we need for that. Feature number 2 has now got my non-design requirement that we've just set in there. If I go back to the drawing again, and back to the whole thing here, the previous features that I've just set. Can I just ask, I'm sure people will message me. One of my colleagues is telling me we've lost sound. Can everybody hear me okay? Just come back on. Just waiting for a signal from anybody now. My colleagues just told me that the sound has just come back on. So yeah, it looks like we're still okay there. Cheers, Russ. So what I'm just doing now is bringing those requirements all the way through into a different document. My final inspection plan, again, different operations only associated with my design requirements. What measurement equipment are we going to go and use? So we're talking here about our final inspection plans, and we're talking about our operational plans. So another session that we will do will be around the detail of control plans and how we go and assign that are used typically, where you use them in your PPAP process. But I've also got to identify my measurement equipment. So how can we do that very easily, effectively and quickly? Again, that go into my inspection plans, that go into my final inspection plans. So even just in visual fair as we are today, I'm going to go and select my operations and measurement equipment. So I can go in and just assign a measurement equipment. And here, what I mentioned earlier, there's other areas of functionality where we can go and assign operations as well. And again here, at a very top level, so not at that process step, I can go and just assign a particular operation and a piece of measuring equipment here by a simple double left mouse click. So there's a number of different areas, as you'd probably expect, where you can go and assign operations. You can go and assign more or less detail that you might want to assign. So here I'm only interested in going and assigning a piece of measuring equipment onto those particular features. A simple double left mouse click. You can see that those characteristics are turning green. We've assigned that data. And again, any documentation. So here I've Form 3 for the AS 9102 first article process. It needs my measurement equipment. My measurement equipment has gone into that particular document. My inspection plan requires that documentation, that data. So again, it's gone into there. Once it's assigned, whatever documentation, my inspection plan, my final inspection plan, that data will go through into the form. So just save what I've done so far. And I'm going to go and close that back down. So it's taking me back to my MPI process. And that's why I was saying so early on in the process, from producing that quotation, you can, somebody in their subconscious has defined how you're going to make it. They define that process, that manufacturing process, that you're then going to use at a later date within your manufacturing process to go and create your detailed inspection plans and your final inspection plans. So we've gone and allocated operations to various forms. I might now want to create a work instruction for a particular operation. So just a little bit more of a detail on my inspection plan. So here I'm going to go and create a work instruction. The process steps have already come through into this particular document. And like a lot of organizations today, we put pictures in because pictures paint 1,000 words. Here, which operation am I concerned about? And I'm going to say that my operation isn't there for me. So typically I'm going to go and select an operation and filter this document for that particular process. But also some of the best functionality is that the inspection plans and the control plans are simply mapped within the software, but I can also go and jump into Excel to bring that document to life, I might want to go and insert now a particular setup for that particular operation, save what I've done, and come back out and capture that particular step within the process. And now what I've got there is that document available for me to go and use within my manufacturing process. So obviously, not just about defining what we're doing and controlling that manufacturing process, we have to demonstrate it with results. So our last webinar, hopefully people, if you haven't seen it, then jump onto our YouTube page and have a look at the digital pen and paper webinar that we did last time. Here, I'm going to go and bring in some measurement data from a coordinate measuring machine. Again, just a document that will handle more than one set of results, in this case 5 sets of results, and I'm going to go and use our Visual CMM application to go and bring those measurement data back in. So the file type, we need an Excel file, a CSV file, or a text file from your CMM, and we will be able to bring that results straight back into the software. So again, let me just go and point at the correct file, so my CMM reports, and I'm going to go and bring this particular part in. So straight away, obviously visual controls, so powerful, green, intolerance. Not everything's going to be measured on a coordinate measuring machine, so hence why there's some gaps there. Simply import those results. So from the first set of results, my first article, yeah, I've got one set of results. There's nothing to stop me from continually bringing that measurement data back in by uploading another set of measurement results at all. But obviously, once we've imported that data, you can see this document is already containing those results. This document doesn't have the color codes on. Other documentation has got all those wonderful color codes on for visual controls. So I've brought those results back in. And I'm just going to save what I've done so far, just good practice. So again, back into that first article, the results are going to come into any dimensional form, any final inspection form that requires those results. So my form 3 sounds all right. Here we've got the color codes on, come into there. My measurement data's already come through as well. My inspection form here is only concerned about my operations and the plan for that particular step, and then other documentation within the library. So again, my first set of results, this particular form will handle more than one set of results, and ultimately it'll start to calculate what my process capability is, my CP/CPK values, and again, measurement equipment that we've allocated as part of that inspection planning stage is also coming through into this particular document. So just thinking about other means of batch data collection now. Obviously, visual fair, concerned around sort of our first article process and typically that first set of results. So I'm just going to go into a manual way now of entering some results. So I'm just going to come back out of what we've done there. And on the same part, I'm going to go and run our results data entry. That's going to enable me now to define what my batch is and my lot sizes to bring that data in manually. So I might be at an inspection station, I might be receiving parts from suppliers that then I'm measuring. So I'm going to go and create a new GRN or a new batch number or router number. And how many components are in my batch? I'm going to say 5. I'm going to prefix it with my IPI, and we're going to start at component number 1. So I've got 5 components that I might want to go and bring in some data for. And simply here, yes, I can manually type data in. So I'm going to type some information in, cursor to my next one. I might have some wireless handheld equipment that I'd take the measurement result and fire that measurement straight into that cell as well. So it's at source. I can't make any changes here to the balloon print, but again, it's a very simple means of being able to capture our measurement data, our batch data as part of the process. And I'll just enter another couple of results. Obviously that's out of tolerance. It's gone red straight away, as you'd expect. And I'm just going to go and save what we've done. It's just a step there that you normally wouldn't have to take. I'm just going to go and save that. So what that's done now, it's pushed all that data. And for those that don't know, our later versions of the software, the back end to it is SQL. So all our data is going now into a SQL database. Why? In this instance, from a measurement data, it makes things easier to interrogate and easier to display. Run charts, process capability, all of that good activity. So all I've done there is pushed out that data to our data store, and then we can go and display that data as we might choose fit to. And I'm just going to go and open that up now. So behind all of this, obviously I've already got some parts and data in here, and a whole list of all my parts, the detail that you'd probably expect with operations and process steps that it's all brought down to. And ultimately, what are we trying to demonstrate by collecting that batch data? What our process capability is. In past lives, we need that data so that we can demonstrate and go to reduced levels of inspection. So against that particular part, I may have multiple batches. In this case, I'm just going to bring all the data through across all those various batches and across all those characteristics and come through. And ultimately, push that out into some form of process capability template. So very quick overview. I know there's quite a lot of detail there from a point of view of the operations, in measurement equipment, and different documentation. But the inspection plans that you may be using today, if we don't have them in the software, then it's it's something relatively simple for us to replicate those within the software and make that available to you. So I think I'm just going to hand that back over to Greg.
Okay, thank you, Carl, for that. Please feel free to fill in the questions on the webinar. I'm just pulling that up on our second screen so that we can see any questions coming in. But yeah, as always in all our webinars, what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you a taster and awareness of the solutions that we've got with our applications. It's kind of like just think outside the box of what applications you use, and contact us. Let us talk to you. Let us try and work with you and help you understand these things, because we go into a lot of customers and we do hear that big organizations are asking you to do inspection plans, control plans, process flow, FMEA, and we're always constantly listening to our customers and trying to come up with applications to make your life easier. And if you've got that information from the drawing as core and central, then we'll do everything we can to utilize that information and make your life easier and make your processes more efficient. So as I mentioned before, PPAP requirements come in, they're being discussed at IAQG meetings every year. Is it going to be an aerospace standard? It will be. And a lot of these things, inspection plans, operation inspection plans, data collection, giving customer that confidence in what you're manufacturing and having the data there, that's what we're about. That's how we can help you. So you'll see it's not just aerospace, there are other industry sectors that we are involved in. So let's just have a look. Any questions, please fire them. I'm leaving you on this final slide because, as with everything, you've got a 14-day unrestricted trial of our applications if you're not already a customer or not already got those applications. Information there on who to contact. We're also, very keen on you joining us, following us on LinkedIn, Facebook. We've got a YouTube site. Everything will be posted on there with future recordings. So we've got a question here. Is there a minimum number of measurements required before CPK values are calculated? Well, the answer to that question is really guided by the customer. Typically when you're doing SPC, they may require 25 results, 30 results, 35 results. Fact is, it is down to the calculation. So any forms we show, any calculations we show is based on the number of results that you've got at that particular time. But as a confidence, giving confidence, then you'll be guided by the number of results that you may have to use. Another question here. Does the process step link into the FMEA? Good question. Yes, it does. You've probably seen from previous webinars, if you've been in attendance, the creation of the operation number, breaking that operation down into process steps. The process step then forms a logical next branch of being the characteristic. Characteristic then, how can it go wrong? What's a potential failure mode? And from the potential failure mode then you would assess obviously your occurrence, your severity, and then finally your detection. So they're all branches that link together, and ultimately they all link back to the feature number. So yep, that one is good. We've got, can gauge R&R data be stored within the software? Okay, the third webinar we did last month was all about gauge R&R data. So we've got that movie on our YouTube site. Feel free to go and view it. The answer is yes. Our data is all on the back of SQL Server. So imagine that as a database. You'll have all your R&R study percentage results against the measurement equipment. And just in particular to that question, what you'll find of interest when you watch the movie is that the tolerance that you use on that particular feature will control the measurement equipment that you see available. So only capable gauges will be listed for you to choose from. Another question here. There seems to be multiple ways to set characteristics to a process step op number. Why is that? Well, we recognise that we're trying to improve over and above just the use of visual fair. We're trying to make it easier. We don't want you jumping from one application to another just to view certain information. So the logical thing there is if you're creating operation numbers in a particular application like you saw Carl there using process flow, you've got the ability to view the drawing at side of you, which you've ballooned up earlier in the MPI or the APQP step, and you can very quickly, efficiently link a feature number there to that particular process step. The alternate thing is if we come on to control plans, you might not necessarily be wanting to create inspection plans at this stage. Control plans might come first. If that's the case, then visual CP, visual control plan, will give you a different outlook, a different presentation, and you can link operations to feature numbers there, but also apply other information that you may associate to the AIEG standard with control plans. What we've got now, are the PFD, FMEA and control plan all linked, i.e. when you make a change to one document, does it automatically update the others? Now, that's an interesting question because the key thing there you're referring to is document. Now, as anything, if I create something and export it, save it as a PDF, save it as Excel, that is my document, it's Excel. So any changes you make then in the software is not going to update the document. If the question was, if I go back into FMEA, will I see a change if I've changed the op number or if I've changed the feature number that I've linked it to in process flow, will it be changed in visual fair? Then the answer is yes. So at all times, any changes you make in the software, it will link and feed back to other applications. But just be careful, documents you create can be, as you're aware, PDFs or Excel, they're then out of the system and they're on their own then. So nice question there. Okay, I think that's concluded today's questions. Again, thank you for registering your interest. We're going to keep this theme going, so there'll be another webinar in May. Yeah, just get my months right. Yeah, May, that's the 5th one. we'll send out webinar invites. So, yep, all good. And this meeting, by the way, will be posted on to YouTube. You'll get a confirmation email. Thank you for your attendance. And again, any more information, any personal one-on-one WebExes you need, just contact us and we'll do our best to help you. Thank you very much. Have a good day and catch you later.
Thank you.
Bye.